Going out now, having to do some shopping. I shall be meeting Virginia Sands for lunch, so I doubt if I'll be back much before 3:30. What are you doing?
Nothing.
You'll have to try to forget.
I can't.
You've made your decision. Now you must put it behind you and look to the future. Think of a career. University, perhaps. William's in good hands, you know.
Mother, I prefer not to talk about it.
I know it may not seem like it sometimes, but things do have a way of turning out for the best.
Do they? What happened to this family?
Abby, that's unfair.
Well, to you, perhaps. That's hardly surprising.
Well, what does that mean?
You know very well what I mean. Considering the situation with my father, whoever he is, you're the last person who should give advice.
Quite a setup you've got here. And Dawn said you've been in business, what, about 4 years?
That's right. I bought the yard just after we split up.
How long were you living together?
Oh, long enough for her to realise we didn't belong under the same roof. I don't know whether she discovered my bad habits or my bank balance. You know, Dawn. She only appreciates the finer things in life. I couldn't give them to her, so she moved on. In your direction, eventually, she tells me. I put everything I had into the business.
And how is business?
Oh, we're getting there. We rely on servicing, repairs, that sort of thing.
Not quite the right site, though, is it, if you're considering the agency franchise? I mean, that's where the real potential lies, isn't it?
It does. But, to be quite frank, with the cruisers costing upwards of 40,000 each wholesale, I don't have sufficient capital to exploit the franchise at the moment. Dawn thought you might, Ken.
Really? Well, that's news to me.
It's under the impression from Dawn you were looking for an investment.
Well, I wouldn't say I was looking exactly, no. But I never turn my back if an interesting opportunity presents itself.
I see. Well, if you're considering the powerboat market, something like this might be of interest. I've got an option on the European franchise rights.
What's the performance like?
I'll get her in the water, give you a demonstration, and see for yourself.
Right.
Dean! Dean, where are you?
What exactly are you running away from?
I'm not running away from anything.
Yes, you are. Why else have you started drinking again?
Oh, you're not going to go on about that again, are you? If I choose to have a drink, it's got nothing to do with you.
No, that's where you're wrong. It's got a great deal to do with me.
Oh, yes? What?
It hurts to sit back and watch you destroying yourself.
Oh, now, don't get upset over it. I'm not destroying myself. I just felt a bit down and wanted a drink, that's all.
But why? The Barracuda's on the market. We're on the brink of success.
Yeah, but sometimes success isn't everything. I'm a craftsman, April. Not a high-tech man.
Oh, Dad, please.
Must have brought one, too. 300 wooden boats into this world over the past 35 years. A father to them all. An old part of me.
Except the Barracuda.
Well, at least she's got a wooden hull. And it's, just not the same anymore since I took Tom into the yard.
Why don't you stop feeling sorry for yourself and help Tom and me build a business? You're still part of it.
Am I?
Please.
All right. For you.
No. For you. Look, I've got to be off, huh? Oh, there's a Mrs. Davis Seagram coming to see you later on.
Oh, no. What the hell does she want?
I don't know. She rang this morning to complain about not receiving an estimate she requested from you.
Oh, that sounds like the old girl, all right.
Well, who
is she?
I built a boat for her and her husband some 25 years ago. She's a time waster, never stops complaining.
That's no reason for not acknowledging her letter.
Well, it's good enough reason for me, fat old bag.
Mr. Rolfe?
No, I'm his partner, Tom Howard. Can I help?
I have an appointment with Mr. Rolfe at 11. I'm a little early, I'm afraid. My name's Caroline Davis Seagram.
Hi, how's it going?
Oh, how I am to be ready for this collection, I do not know. Everything is ready in my imagination, but when I try to put my thoughts on paper, nothing.
Darling, calm down. It'll all be all right.
Oh, perhaps.
Where's Mum?
In the office with a gentleman from the bank. She should not be too long.
I hope not, otherwise we'll miss Sonia. You, haven't changed your mind, then?
About the wedding?
No, you fool, about designing the dress.
No, I shall leave all that to Sonia. The first time I see your wedding dress must be in the church.
These revenue projections appear to have been revised from the original figures you presented to Mr. Askew.
Yes, that's right. We've had a slight delay with some of our suppliers, which means that our collection's been put back by approximately 10 weeks. To my daughter.
And to what extent do you envisage it will affect your level of borrowing over the next quarter?
Well, it will have some effect, of course.
With the overheads of these premises to carry, as well as the boutique, I would have thought quite an effect, Mrs. Howard.
The temporary extension to our overdraft facility should see us through.
That's not exactly a viable basis on which I can recommend to my head office that the bank provide such a facility.
You surprise me, Mr. Peterson, coming from the bank's business development department, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do, develop a business. And I can't do that without working capital.
I'm merely trying to illustrate that the bank would feel more confident in providing the additional facility if there was a contingency to offset the delay of your collection, by way of rethinking your marketing approach, for example.
Yes, well, we've already considered a retroactive approach, and you'll find that contingency on page 24 of the marketing report. As you can see, we're more than prepared to widen our customer base, if necessary, by offering the collection to selected retail outlets. The additional revenue should more than cover the cost of any delay.
And what makes you so sure these figures could be attained?
Mr. Peterson, you can't deny that our earlier designs have sold well in the boutique.
No.
Then there's no reason to suppose they wouldn't in any other outlet, is there?
Very well, Mrs. Howard. I think I can recommend to my head office that the bank accept your proposals.
Thank you.
All I require is for both you and Mr. Howard to sign these documents.
Mr. Howard, why?
Well, I understood from Mr. Askew you were willing to put up the house as collateral.
Oh, yes, I am, but my husband signed over the house to me months ago. Mr. Askew has a copy of the agreement.
I'm well aware of the agreement. It provides for you in the event of default on a loan Mr. Howard has secured with his own bank. But otherwise, the agreement's open to interpretation. And in view of the impending divorce proceedings and possible property settlements, I'm afraid if you're offering the house as collateral, Mrs. Howard, the bank will require your husband's consent.
Thanks so much. Glad you're pleased. Well, Mrs. Eden, how are you getting on?
It's between these two. Which one do you prefer?
Well, Look here, my dear. Let me be perfectly honest. I wouldn't choose either of them. The style simply doesn't suit you at all. Oh, dear. Have I been rude?
No, on the contrary. It's rather refreshing not to be pressurized into buying something.
Exactly my thought. You've got far too good a figure to hide it under garments like those.
You really think so?
Absolutely.
Well, what would you recommend, Mrs. Harvey?
Now, let's see. How would you consider something like this? It's been designed by a new young designer, Claude Dupont, especially for my daughter. Rather expensive, I'm afraid, but you'll feel very good in it.
I see what you mean. I just love it.
Stunning, isn't it?
It's wonderful. Do you have it in my size?